All right, so my audience today is Tucker, Gavin, and Bryce, and he's going to be holding the phone for me. All right. Over 3 million people live in Arkansas, completely double that, and that's just about how many people died in the Holocaust. So the topic I plan to inform y'all on today is the Holocaust. It actually originates from the ancient Greek term burnt offering, and I got that from annfrank.org. So my credibility with this topic is last year, my speech class, my senior year class, I had to take a speech class, and I had to do an informative speech, and it was about 7 minutes long or so. And so I chose the Holocaust. So I've already done something like this before, but then it was like a 2 to 3 week long project. So it was like 2 to 3 weeks of research. So I have pretty decent credibility with this, but I've always been pretty fascinated by it ever since I learned about it in like 9th grade. So in the body of my speech today, I plan to go over what and when the Holocaust took place, who are the key parties and people affiliated with it, and just for some of the brutalities and punishments that the Jews had to endure. So now that you have some idea what the speech is actually over, let's go over what the Holocaust actually is. And so my first visual aid, it's kind of blurry, but as you can see, these are some of the Jews, and you can see all of them, they're super skinny, super malnourished, and they're all really tightly condensed in wherever they were at. That was just some of the harsh living conditions that they had to go through. So what is the Holocaust? So I got this from IWM.org. It is the systematic murder of Jews by the Nazi regime and their collaborators in World War II. So also the definition of Holocaust in the literal dictionary means mass murder. So when did it take place? It actually took place as soon as Hitler rose to power in Germany, and that was January 30th, 1933, and it went all the way to 1945 when it ended. So it really started really slowly and kept going. And so here is my visual aid number 2. This is Hitler giving a speech in front of all of Germany or whatever. So, and I got that from Museum of Tolerance. So now that y'all know when and what the Holocaust was, let's delve more into who was involved. So the main people involved are the Axis and Allied powers. The Axis powers, you have obviously Hitler. He's the Chancellor of Germany. He's the Commander-in-Chief of Germany, and he's basically just the dictator of Germany. He takes control of it. So, but then you also had key friends and people that were involved with them. So one of them is Heinrich Himmler. He's the leader of the SS. Basically, that is the SS is really a close party of Hitler, all of his trusted friends and accomplices. And he is also the head of police in Germany. Then we have Joseph Goebbels, which this is Hitler right here. Goebbels is right here. And Goebbels is the head propagandist and the head of culture and ministry in Germany. And then we have Stalin, which a little bit later he switched to Allied powers, but he's the leader of Russia at this time, and so he's partnered with Hitler. So, and yeah, obviously I have Hitler and Goebbels. So, as my visual number 4, we have the Allies. And so, picture left to right is Stalin, Roosevelt, leader of America, leader of Russia, and then Churchill, who's the Prime Minister of UK. So, a little bit later, Stalin switched sides. Actually, he was on the Axis powers, but then Hitler betrayed and attacked him, and so he switched to the Allied powers. So now that you have an idea who the key parties and the people affiliated with the Holocaust, let's look at some of the brutalities. So, some of the major punishments were called flogging and the post. I couldn't find an accurate picture of the post, but here's flogging. Basically what it was is you just get bent over and you get hit with a bullwhip. And this is just for humiliation, by the way. It was during roll call, and you got hit sometimes up to 25 times with a bullwhip, and that would leave your back super torn up and scarred. And so then the other one was the post. Basically, it was like a 1 by 1 foot box, and you were forced to stand, and you couldn't sit down, and that was for hours on days on end. And so, also for the Jews, how they died, there's these things called death camps. There's a whole bunch of them, but obviously the most famous one is named Auschwitz. But basically, 2.7 million of these Jews died in these death camps, so they're a really big thing. They'd just be transported and then killed when they got there. So they also died by poison gas and asphyxiation. So on the image on the right here is just a gas chamber. Basically what they do is they shoot like a little gas pellet in there, and they load it up as much as they can, hundreds of people in there, and then they'd all die. So, and then the largest camp is Auschwitz, obviously, most well known and most famous as well. So, some things that I hope y'all took away from this is what and when the Holocaust took place, who were the key parties and people affiliated with it, the Allies and Axis powers, and what were some of the punishment and brutalities that the Jews had to endure, and other people. So, my ending quote is, "The smell is awful, things like that you do not want to talk about, because the pain and suffering comes back to you." Eva Grika Kohan, local survivor of Auschwitz.